Let's get right into our powerhouse panel on this Thursday morning. We've got former Special Assistant to President Trump and commentary editor for the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler, back with us. Attorney and Republican strategist and contributor for Turning Point USA, Erin Elmore. She's got packed bookshelves behind her, as always. Erin, what happened? Are you still moving?
Yes. It's the move that will never end, so I'm sorry my bookshelves are bare, but I am here in my heart.
I'm glad you're here in spirit.
How much?
Heart.
How much are you selling those for?
Yeah, those are nice.
The bookshelves, you can have them. You must pick them up, though, Rick. You got to pick them up.
Christopher Arps is back with us. He's got a podcast, and he's a member of Project 21. And, of course, Rick Grinnell is here. Several titles for Rick Grinnell. Which one shall we? I call you Ambassador.
You call me Rick.
I call you Rick.
Everybody should call me Rick.
Yes, former director of national intelligence as well. And Rick, I'm going to start with you. I've got a question about the state of California and Gavin Newsom. And when I say the state of California, I mean that both ways. The state of things, what's it like out there? And we haven't had a recall. The last one was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, it was Gray Davis, and that gave us Arnold Schwarzenegger. But is this going to happen? Is he going to be? Is this bye-bye for the new governor out there?
So what has just happened is that the Secretary of State has approved the number of signatures. So yes, it can happen. I think the national media are a little bit too far in front, suggesting that it will happen. Now what we have to see is the Democrats who control the entire state of California are going to have to decide whether to pull the trigger or force Gavin Newsom out. Remember that the Newsom people are trying to force Dianne Feinstein out,
right,
so that if she vacates that Senate seat, he would appoint himself, the lieutenant governor becomes governor, and the entire recall goes away. So Gavin and the Democrats are a little bit at odds as what to do, but I think they both are of the mindset that it's very risky to have a recall vote, and the Democrats could lose control in California. They don't want that to happen.
And there have been questions about Dianne Feinstein's cognitive health as well. Is that accurate?
She has served the state for a very long time.
Yeah, in her mid-80s.
That's a nice diplomatic answer.
That's a perfect answer. I remember with RBG, and Erin, we've talked about this, but everyone, RBG, she's, besides the former president, her stuff, if you go around the Capitol, you go around D.C., the kitschy kind of, RBG T-shirts and all the, paperweights, coffee mugs. Besides Donald Trump, she's the #1 seller. Kamala Harris is a close second, but it's still RBG. This is somebody that did Democrats a massive disservice by not retiring when Barack Obama was president, and the court paid for it. Erin Elmore, to you. My dear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I still there? Sorry, I froze for a minute. All this moving has my Wi-Fi in disarray. But having said that, you're absolutely right. When people lamented, that President Trump doesn't deserve this appointment, I said the same thing that you said. Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have retired under Obama. Was it her ego? Was it her love of the kitschy merchandise? I'm not sure. And by the way, a few things. You said a few names you have for Rick. I would like to call him future governor of California. Okay, so that's my hopeful for Rick Grinnell, my friend above me in the box. But these are the things that have importance when you are in politics. Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have retired. President Trump fairly got to pick 3 Supreme Court justices and is now shaping the future of the United States, and rightfully so. So I hope that people realize when they are in these positions, elected or appointed, it matters. And as Rick said, the state of California is run completely by Democrats, by the way. And what they could do if the recall does move forward, just have mass mail-in ballots and possibly, potentially manipulate those results all the way to Election Day.
That's a big fear.
Yeah, Rick's here trying to recruit me as his comms guy for the race. Hey,
I thought that was my job already.
Yes. Speaking of comms, by the way, Kamala Harris is going to be going to the border tomorrow. What's fascinating, we've got President Trump on the broadcast tomorrow morning, and I think you could argue, Kelly, that this is a direct response to the former president's scheduled visit to the border next week with the governor of Texas. I don't think Greg Abbott is going to be appearing with the vice president tomorrow.
No, absolutely not. And this was definitely scheduled because Kamala Harris and the Biden administration is sick of hearing about why hasn't Kamala Harris visited the border. I think it's going on, it's 91 days today, maybe 92, 93 tomorrow. And she's not even going to where, you're seeing all these migrants cross in the Rio Grande Valley. she's going to El Paso, Texas, and where there's a very accommodating Congresswoman, Veronica Escobar, which she'll meet with, that agrees with their open border policies, rather than going down to Henry Cuellar's district, where he wrote a bipartisan op-ed in the Washington Post just a day ago, inviting her down there to see what exactly is happening to those ranchers, to the farmers, border patrol agents, how they're all overrun. This isn't a communications problem for the administration. It's a policy problem. And so I don't think she's going to have any success down there tomorrow, but it will blunt President Trump's criticism of her next week for not visiting.
Chris, you're in St. Louis. That would be like me going to visit St. Louis to see the Arch, to go to the Budweiser Brewery, but never crossing the Mississippi River. She's going to El Paso, Texas. She should be going to Donna. She should be going to McAllen. There's plenty areas in Texas where the crisis is at its worst right now. These migrant facilities, they couldn't be worse right now. The Democrats are calling them camps for kids. They're being held for 60 days. But we have no idea what the conditions are like inside these facilities because the media has largely been kept out. And this has been going on now for 5 months.
Correct. I think there's three factors that are contributing to the vice president going down to the border. Of course, it's because President Trump will be there next week with Governor Abbott. If you look at the polls, the ratings that the administration has on the border are terrible. And there's another poll that came out of Iowans that was on Sky News' website that said that the president is underwater in Iowa. He has a 52% disapproval rating.
Wow.
I don't think that's an outlier.
Deal.
I think if you do other polling, you'll see the same exact thing. Democrats know that if they want to turn Texas eventually purple in 2024 and beyond, that they've got to shore up this border and they've got to shore up their Hispanic support. And they're losing a lot of Democratic Hispanic support from congressmen and mayors in border towns.
Unsurprisingly, the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, was asked about the former president and his visit to the border with the governor of Texas next week. Take a listen to what she had to say.
We have no way to predict what former President Trump will say when he goes to the border. We can only guess. But I don't think our view is that the vice president making a trip to the border with the Secretary of Homeland Security to assess and take a look at progress that's been made is going to prevent or change what the former president of the United States does when he goes to the border in a couple of days.
About 30 seconds to you, Aaron. How big a role do you think the vice president's decision to go to the border was impacted by Donald Trump's decision to go to the border next week?
I think Donald Trump was the absolute reason why she agreed to go. They knew that the optics in Washington would be terrible if President Trump went first and Kamala was still sitting there talking about her great European world tour. So honestly, I think Trump, once again, is always leading the pack and ruling with common sense instead of ruling by polling or the news headlines.
You did a good job, Rob, of not commenting on Jen Psaki going.
Yeah, what is that?
She was swatting at flies.
Is that what that was?
Voguing.
Yeah, we saw that a day ago.
Yeah, she was voguing.
Yes. Oh, Aaron, good stuff. I like that. 7-Eleven in the morning. She's got it. She's got it. Moving, but she's still got it.
Turning point always teaches you to be relevant.
That's right. Chris, it would be like me stopping in Kansas City to go to St. Louis. Okay, that's where going to El Paso. I'm going to hone that throughout the morning a little bit.
Kansas City boy, you can't take it out of him.
That's right. That's right. All right, panel, stay with us. We'll see you guys again in just a moment.